As I was saying, here's something new from Pepsi.
In 1992, PepsiCo made a promise to the Philippines. A promise that was supposed to change their lives. Unfortunately, as it later turned out, dreams turned into tragedy for many people. To this day, it remains one of the worst lotteries in history. Over 30 years ago, Coca-Cola dominated the market share over Pepsi. Pepsi needed something big, something revolutionary. That's how the lottery was born. The rules were simple. Buy a PepsiCo product, Pepsi, Mirinda, 7-Up or Mountain Dew. Check the bottle cap and find the winning number. If you were lucky enough, you could win a fortune, enough to change the life of an average family forever. The lottery was called Number Fever. It was a promotion designed to boost Pepsi's monthly sales from $10 million to $14 million and increase its global market share from 19.4% to 24.9%. The lottery was first introduced in the United States, then in South America, and later brought to the Philippines. Pepsi bottling plants worked harder than ever, doubling their usual production. Strange situations occurred, such as people being arrested for stealing bottle caps. In total, 17 people in the Philippines won 1 million pesos each in the lottery, a sum 600 times higher than the country's average monthly salary at that time. Everything seemed to be heading toward success. But during one particular draw, something happened that turned into a national tragedy. It was an ordinary evening in Manila when the host picked up a small piece of paper. About 70% of Filipinos were watching the evening news on TV. And today's winning number is 3, 4, 9. Across the Philippines, households erupted in ecstasy. Families screamed, cried, embraced. They had made it. Their lives could finally change. They had just won 1 million pesos in the lottery. But something was wrong, and the ecstasy quickly turned into human tragedy. How did this happen? A computer error had caused the winning number, 349, to be printed under 800,000 bottle caps. Instead of one winner, there were over 800,000 people holding winning caps. That meant Pepsi owed a total of more than $32 billion in prizes. It was obvious that such an amount could never be paid out. The next morning, chaos broke out. At first, Pepsi tried to announce that the winning number wasn't 349 but 134. But that didn't work. Hundreds, then thousands of people gathered outside Pepsi's factory gates in the Philippines, holding in their hands what they believed was their ticket to a better life. Pepsi's response was quick and devastating for many. The company claimed that bottle caps with the number 349 lacked the proper security codes. The dreams of 800,000 Filipinos crumbled overnight. To calm the storm, Pepsi offered 500 pesos, $18.50, to each holder of a 349 cap as a goodwill gesture. From a millionaire to just $18. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Some accepted the compensation, but many did not. For Pepsi, this meant paying out around $15 million, tiny compared to the impossible $32 billion. For many impoverished Filipino families, this wasn't just about money, it was about hope, and when hope is taken away, revolution usually follows. Even more so when nearly half of the Philippines' 65 million citizens at that time had participated in the lottery. At the same time, anti-colonial sentiments were rising in the Philippines, fueled by the presence of American troops on their soil. The anger started slowly. First, peaceful protests, petitions, pleas for justice. But when a giant corporation tells an entire nation that their dreams don't matter, peace doesn't last long, especially when Filipinos already had political resentment towards the United States and its companies. The lottery led to riots and the deaths of at least 5 people. Pepsi trucks and factories were attacked. The company never expected that a single lottery could spark such rage among society. This created a serious problem for Pepsi. Furious crowds demanded payment, throwing stones, burning tires, and even hurling explosives at company buildings. In the background, speculators tried to buy winning caps, hoping to profit later. The Pepsi-Cola Hotshots basketball team even changed its name to the 7-Up Uncolas. Pepsi executives began traveling with bodyguards. The company's CEO even flew to the Philippines to meet with President Fidel Ramos, but it wasn't enough to stop the protests. The legal war began immediately. About 22,000 people filed more than 5,000 lawsuits against Pepsi. The battle dragged on for over a decade. Families struggling financially found themselves fighting one of America's biggest corporations. They never stood a chance. One of the most prominent figures was Vicente Del Fiero Jr., who had criticized the lottery even before the scandal, calling it an ad that encouraged gambling instincts in children. He quickly became a leader of the anti-Pepsi movement. He was personally involved too. His daughter held a winning number. Del Fiero formed the 349 Coalition, organizing rallies in front of Pepsi factories. He promised cap holders huge settlements if they won through a class action. But after numerous appeals and hearings, in 2006, the Philippine Supreme Court ruled in Pepsi's favor, declaring that 349 caps without security codes were invalid and that the company had no legal obligation to pay additional prizes or damages. To this day, Del Fiero's daughter runs the 349 Coalition website. Today, more than 3 decades later, the Philippines still remembers. This story is also about human tragedies. One man recalls the death of his wife and daughter who had gone to buy rice at the market. They never came home. Someone had thrown a grenade at a Pepsi delivery truck nearby. The explosion killed the mother and daughter and injured 5 others. How did Pepsi respond? The company offered the man 50,000 pesos in exchange for dropping a lawsuit. Since then, the number 349 has become a symbol of bad luck, fraud, and shame in the Philippines. It occasionally appears in Filipino media and pop culture as an iconic comment on failed promotions or scams. For years, any Pepsi advertisement in the Philippines was pointless, though that is slowly changing now. Still, some store owners refuse to sell the drink to this day. Children born after 1992 don't know the story, but their parents remember. They remember the night when hundreds of thousands of people believed that their lives had changed forever. The Pepsi lottery taught the world one thing: sometimes playing for millions ends in tragedy.